and for today's video, we are going to dive into yet another haunted doll. Previously, we've dove into Robert the doll, we've dove into the truth behind Annabelle, we've dove into the aging doll, but for today's video, we are going to be diving into the doll that is said to be haunted by the restless spirit of the little girl who used to own her and whose hair now continues to grow. This doll has to be one of the most interesting, bizarre, unexplainable paranormal cases that I've researched into. So without further ado, let's get into the doll whose hair never used to grow that now needs haircuts on the daily. Before I get into today's video though, I just very quickly want to say, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Haley. My family on here is the Reese's Pieces, and we believe in the unbelievable. So if you too believe in the unbelievable, or you just want to hear about it, all you gotta do is go ahead, click that subscribe button, and join our family. I mean, that would just mean the absolute world to me. Now let's get into today's video. So this Japanese porcelain doll is said to house the spirit of a restless little girl who used to previously own her, but ended up passing away. This doll was purchased in 1918 by an older brother for his baby sister. Now I'm going to apologize in advance if I mispronounce the name of the doll / the name of the little girl. I really try to do my best with pronunciation, but I'm only human and I can only really speculate. And considering that there was like no videos of this up on YouTube, I couldn't hear anybody else pronounce it, so I'm going to do my best. But when this doll was purchased for his little sister, it had a bob haircut, it wore a kimono, and it was basically a porcelain doll, your average run-of-the-mill porcelain doll. Now the little girl's name was Okiku, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and her and this doll became inseparable. She loved this doll more than anything. I mean, what little girl doesn't love their doll? She loved the doll so much though that she decided to name it Okiku after herself because she felt like she was one with the doll. She felt like the doll was a reflection of her. Now, like I said, Okiku and her doll Okiku were inseparable until Okiku fell very, very ill. She would later pass away of severe influenza and a really, really bad fever. And after her passing, the family placed the doll in a family altar in memory of their beloved daughter. Now, shortly after placing this doll up in the family altar on display in memory of their deceased daughter, the family started to notice something rather interesting. The doll's once bob haircut was now growing all the way down to its knees. They would cut the doll's hair back to the bob that was once loved very much by their dear daughter, and not too long after, the hair would grow all the way back down, never passing the knees, but would grow all the way to the knees. Now this was extremely alarming because this doll had been with their daughter for years, and this doll had never ever had its hair grow. So the family started to automatically believe that the spirit of their daughter must be within her beloved doll. Now in 1938, the family was going to be moving, and they were super uneasy about bringing this doll with them. They felt super conflicted because on one hand they felt that their little girl lived within this doll, but on the other hand, while the doll had never done anything evil or malicious, they feared the fact that it was occupied by some sort of a ghost, be it their daughter or be it something else, and they were very uneasy about bringing this doll with them on their move into their new home. Now the family wound up donating the doll to this temple here, and just because it's a temple, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I really don't want to mispronounce it in the slightest. So this is the name of the temple, and the temple had heard about this doll and the phenomena of its hair continuously growing, and decided that they would take the doll in and give it a good environment, take good care of it, and put it out on display. Now that is where the doll resides up until today, and haircuts for this doll are done on the regular. It's just an unbelievable phenomenon. Now, people ended up taking samples of the doll's hair and sending it off to labs. And the super interesting results around that were the fact that the doll did in fact have human hair. But whether or not the fact of the doll having human hair had any sort of correlation to paranormal activity or whatever that could be is up in the air. I mean, just because something has human hair doesn't mean it's gonna continue to grow. I mean, I'll wear extensions, but they ain't gonna be growing, you know, miraculously all of a sudden one day because it's actually dead hair. It's not, although it's human hair, it's not living hair attached to a scalp. So it's really interesting to me that it is human hair, but it also doesn't explain the fact that after their daughter's passing, the hair began to grow. Now, I'm not sure if Japanese porcelain dolls are typically made with human hair. If you guys know anything about that, definitely let me know in the comments below. But it does seem rather interesting to me that the doll's hair was in fact made of human hair. And I mean, was in fact hair of a human. But I don't know if that necessarily, I mean, I really don't think it necessarily has anything to do with the fact that the doll's hair would grow. Now, this entire story was super interesting to me. That's basically the sum of it. The doll doesn't do anything particularly freaky other than its hair growing, which I mean is crazy because the whole time the daughter had it, the porcelain doll had a bob haircut. But what I found really interesting was the behavior of the fact the doll started to do this after the little girl who so seriously loved this doll passed away. Now, a lot of times when a spirit moves inside of an object, such as a doll or such as, you know, an object that they loved in their time here on Earth, especially children spirits can go out of their way to make their presence known. You know, even if it is the little girl making the doll's hair grow or whether or not she's actually within it, it could very well be that this is her way of still being here, of still showing that she's still around or that she's still there or that she's okay. I mean, I find it pretty interesting that that is the choice though that she would have made, was for the hair to grow. You guys know I've done a ton of research into haunted dolls and never have I ever seen or heard of a doll whose hair will grow. It would actually be really interesting to go and visit this doll and actually see the hair growing in action, or actually, you know, physically see that one day the hair's this length and the next day it's this length. But I don't really think that's too probable considering the location of the doll to this day. Well, you guys, that is basically it on this doll whose hair grows. I know that today is a pretty short video, but I wanted to talk about it nonetheless because we've kind of had this haunted doll theme going on my channel. We've talked about a lot of the mainstream ones. There's a couple that I've found that are super interesting and underrated that I'm definitely going to talk about within these 31 days. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. What do you guys think of this doll? What do you think is taking place? Do you find it strange that the doll has human hair, or is that normal? I don't know what to make of this entire situation, but it's interesting nonetheless. Definitely leave some comments down below on what you guys think of this. I love to read through them and hear your guys' different theories. Upon talking it out amongst each other, please be kind to one another. Nothing makes me happier than seeing you guys showing each other nothing but kindness. It means the world to me, so please do that. And on that note, if you did enjoy today's video, please go ahead, click that subscribe button. I'm posting every day for the month of October, so I don't want you to miss when I upload. And please give this video a big thumbs up. It makes my heart really happy when you do that, so please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.